every mother can do this, and so my mother is doing what a lot of mothers can't, and she's that's great that we can help.
Right.
Well,
so
and I think one of the points in the article too, there are a few parents who are doing all of this. It's not like many of the parents in the school, many of the mothers of the children attending the school are volunteering all these hours of time. It's really just a handful. So that handful feels a lot of pressure. And there is this kind of, I feel like I'm a good mother if I'm doing this. But at the same time, some of these moms were saying, I'm spending less time with my kids because I'm busy planning school activities. So now it seems like this is a disconnect.
And why does the school have to have so many activities? I mean, that's the other reality. I mean, really, do we have to have like cupcakes for every single kid's birthday and every month? And, you know, like that would be my issue. My friends who have children, it's like, oh, now there's this party and I'm making cookies for this. Like, can't we just sort of wrap everything up into one party and just focus on school, maybe?
But school's boring. School's very boring. And you have to, you know, I mean, just, you know, you got to have parties. You've got to have that social interaction. I mean, my son's in kindergarten and they're learning about how to cut out gingerbread men through a math project, like a math unit. And so one of the mothers came up with, well, why don't we teach them how to actually bake gingerbread men? Terrific. So this is something that's it's a fun activity to continue the learning process. So occasionally that happens, you know, but there have to be these sort of events to break up the monotony, if you ask me. It's just that we can't always be there.
And I think we have to get away from this concept of being the Uber everything, right? The Uber mom, the Uber girlfriend, the Uber wife, where you just expect it to do everything under the sun. The reality is you can sustain it only for so long before it falls apart. And I think there are high cases of depression amongst women, especially because they often feel not only underappreciated, but they don't spend any time on themselves, taking care of themselves, and they wake up one day and they're not very happy with the life they have and all the things that they're doing. We have to be careful to make sure that we portion our time such that it's equal, not to just people outside of ourselves, but to ourselves as well.
If we can't be happy with ourselves and we can't be fulfilled within ourselves, we can't then therefore give back to others.
And this is, I think, a specific problem with the Asian and other ethnic populations, because women have always sort of taken on the traditional role of the home, and now that we're also in the workforce, the balance sometimes isn't always there in their lives the way that it needs to be.
Well, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about charities. You know that there's been all kinds of fuss made about Ambani and the big house, and you kind of wonder what the wealthiest Indians are doing with their money, their philanthropic activities. I was really excited to read in BBC that, you know, Wipro, the big software company, the tycoon Azim Premji has committed to give $2 billion in Indian charities. Okay?
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B. His net worth is estimated at about $17 billion.
So really, he's not giving enough.
So, yeah.
Come on.
You know, percentage-wise.
How many billions do you
Those
need?
pockets are pretty deep.
Yeah, right.
Reach further, reach
What's
further.
he doing with the money?
He really wants to focus on education in India. One of the projects would be a university in Bangalore to raise the quality of teacher training in India. So the idea is really focusing on the rural India as well as education in India. There are 69 billionaires, did you know this, in India? And they have actually widely been criticized for not doing enough in terms of charity. And, you know, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates and investor Warren Buffett have been going around the world. They were in China recently talking about the elite rich's responsibility
I love
to
what
give
that
back.
program is that he started, where he basically said to all the rich people in the world, you know, leave your legacy behind and donate half of your income to these nonprofit causes, which, you know, there's some peer pressure there too, because a lot of people who are not contributing, people are scratching their heads going, well, what are you doing with that money? You know, do you really, how much do you need to live your own life?
Well, it's really putting them under a microscope, don't you think? I mean, you can quietly not give your money away until Bill Gates comes knocking on your door and says, hey, I got a camera behind me. Can you donate some money?
Gates and Buffett are planning to go to India this year, and they really want to encourage the super rich in India as well to give back.
Don't you think there's a culture in India of giving back to community, though? I feel like that's something that is ingrained in our culture. And you actually just said something that made me think is, what about the people who are quietly giving money, who are quietly doing something good, who aren't rich or who are loaded and doing a lot of quiet things within their community to help them? Are these people doing it for the write-off and for the good press, or are they doing it because they're good people?
You know, I really don't care why they do it.
Sure.
Seriously,
You're right.
Ultimately, it benefits a charity. Ultimately, it's for the good. I don't care what your reasons are, tax write-off, publicity, what, you're giving your $2 billion? Give your $2 billion with a B. But you know what, you touch on a really good point there. You know, CNN every year does this CNN Heroes. Basically, everyday people, non-billionaires, that have made a positive benefit to society in some way. And for 2010, the hero of the year is Anuradha Koirala from Nepal. She has helped almost 12,000 women and girls find their way out of sex slavery. Wow. Now, she doesn't have money. She didn't throw money at a problem to try and fix it. She was down in the ditches, laboring to try and save these women. And we all know that this is an international problem. I mean, we've got sex slavery going on in the United States. Don't close your eyes and think that it only happens in developing nations. But this woman from Nepal has done this, and she's been recognized by CNN as a hero of the year for 2010.
Shoe leather, time.
There you go.
Boots on the ground, doing something.
There you go. That is Superwoman to me.
What an incredible example.
She is my Superwoman.
I'll tell you about a whole new other set of superwomen that are coming across in India. This was just a story that I felt great about. You know, we did the Commonwealth Games. Did you know, for example, that of the 38 gold medals that India won, 13 of them were won by females?
Wow.
Not only that, they contributed to the total 56 silver and bronze medals that India won as well. And it was the first time that women had won the majority of medals awarded to India at the Commonwealth Games.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That's a pretty staggering statistic
Yeah.
because we haven't had a very strong culture of sports in India, and certainly not for women who spend most of their time inside their homes. But look at this. Because of a few star athletes, Mary Kom being one of them, you might have heard her name mentioned on this show before because she is actually a boxing queen. Believe it or not, boxing was her sport of choice, and she did quite well. And her boxing academy gets queries every week from young girls who are trying to get in, especially in areas where there's insurgency.
I love it.
So this is great. You know, in the Bhiwani district, in the rural heart of Haryana, villagers can't stop talking about the success of their girls, Geeta and Babita, who were showered with praise.
That's terrific.
If this is a trend that moves forward in India with these women who are oftentimes coming from either war-torn districts where there's insurgency or very rural areas, Haryana State being one of them, for example, they're local celebrities. Their villages are celebrating these women, and consequently, they're also becoming role models to the young girls who come behind them. I mean, I hope that this is a growing trend. New York Times covered this story, so I'm hoping that it catches. If we can have more events like the Commonwealth Games, hopefully in my lifetime they'll have the Olympic events come to India as well. That would make such a difference because women are talented. They just have to get out of their house. They have to leave their homes to make an impact.
I mean, for those teams, like I always think about the Eastern Bloc nations during the Olympics, and they just come out with, you know, these people and they have little factories where all the little gymnasts learn these things. But, you know, to have rural women understand that they have this wonderful skill, this athletic skill, and to hone it, to then go to the games, I mean, that's so exciting. I don't think of my people as being athletic. I always feel bad about saying that, but I mean,
it's true. Well, the thing is, you think about China. China and India are always compared to each other, and China does have that kind of factory system where you see these young gymnasts. They won a huge number of medals in this past set of Olympic Games, and part of the criticism has been they take young girls and they put them in these very difficult schools and training programs, and they churn out these Olympic athletes. India doesn't have that kind of a state-sponsored enforcement, if you will, on girls.
Because India is a democracy.
Well, that is true.
I mean, yes, China is surpassing India in a great many ways, but at what cost?
But that's my point, is that in India, if we can start to make our mark without all of that, then
it's the love of the game.
It's the true love of the game.
Well, but also, India's been focused on academics and moving forward with academics and things like that. That's been the way out of poverty for many in India, and that's why India is becoming this world, you know, leader in technology and all that stuff. Now that we've achieved that,
we need to be
let's go on. Let's go back to the other stuff. You know, we had to concentrate on a few things first. Now we're going to go back and concentrate on some other things. And eventually it'll be a progression. India is a very young country. Let it get there. It's a democracy, so it's not going to kidnap little girls from villages and put them in a 10-year training camp. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Indian swim team, they're coming up.
Well, ladies, it was so much fun to be back again with you. I love this annual show with just women, and I really hope that you all have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks so much for joining us. Best wishes for the new year.
Namaste.
Namaste.